Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. On today's video we are going to do a maintenance item. So this is my 2012 Mini Cooper S, and if you know my previous video I mentioned that I needed to do a brake flush. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do today. So stay tuned and follow me on this one. Alright guys, before I start the video, I want you to do me a favor. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel and then comment if you like what you're about to see, if you like this DIY. Also, if you like the DIY, make sure that you like on the end of the video. Now, why do you need to do a brake flush on your car? Well, the brake system in your car is a great thing. That's what stops your car whenever you're driving. So after an extended period of time, the fluid that is in your system will become dirty. It will have accumulated gunk in there, and then you need to flush it to have a new fluid so that your brake pedal will have that good power and good feel whenever you brake it. That's exactly why you need to do a brake job. Now, in order for you to do a brake job, a brake flush, I meant to say, you need a few tools, right? First, you need your brake fluid. So I'm going to go with the Pentozin Super .4. Now the Mini Cooper needs a .4, so this one is a good one because it has a good operating temperature. Now you're also going to need additional tools. You need a power bleeder. So I went with a motif right here because it's one where you can apply pressure and then you push the fluid in the system when you flush it on the back near the tires. You're going to see how I use it. Now to capture the fluid, you're going to need these bottles. I have two of them, so I'm expecting to fill up maybe one or the second one. And finally, you are going to need an 11mm wrench. Now let's go ahead and let me show you how this DIY is done. It's very, very simple. So I have a few neighbors that are cutting their grass, so we have to do with this video with them on the background. So right now I have my car lifted and holding with this one jack stand right there, and then the ramp on the back there. Now here I have my normal 3-ton jack holding the front just because I'm going to be working a lot under the car. So the area where you have the brake fluid, it's right here. This is the front driver. So if you come right here, this is the reservoir right here. So this is where we're going to remove the fluid, add it, and etc. Let me show you how this process is done. Because the brake fluid is highly corrosive, I'm going to protect the area around the reservoir so that if I have any spill, it does not affect my paint or any plastic or anything around here. So this is the cap. So you go ahead and remove the cap. I can put it here, and there's this little protective filter, so you use a normal screwdriver just to remove that. And once it is out, I will put it out on the towel so that I don't damage anything. So I can put this on the side. You guys know what this is, right? You use this around Thanksgiving when you're making turkey. So yes, I went to the kitchen, got this, and I'm gonna use that. So the plan right now is to remove as much brake fluid that we can and put this on this jar right here. This is milk, So I'm gonna just go ahead and do that. Capture as much of the bad fluid. Put that in there. Now that the reservoir is empty, the next step is to add the new fluid and kind of top it off. And then after that, we are going to do the same, add the rest of it on the motif power bleeder, and then mount the motif, put it at 15 to 17 psi, go on the back to start bleeding. So let me show ahead and how that looks like. Go ahead now and cover that with your motif tool here. Go ahead and make sure that it is tight. So now what you do is you pump it until you see about 15 psi. As you can see, I have 15 psi here. Now we just simply go on the back and then start bleeding. Now there is a sequence that you have to follow when you are bleeding around the tires. So what you do is you make sure that you check where your reservoir is located. So the reservoir is located on the front left side of the vehicle because this is the driver side. So what you do is you have to go in a diagonal. So when you go diagonal, that will be the back passenger. So that's exactly where you start because that is the point that is the furthest away from the reservoir. Now the next one is going to be the back driver side. After the back driver side, then you come to the front passenger side, and then the final one is always the side where the reservoir is located. Now, if the reservoir was located on this side of the vehicle, then we will start diagonally on the other side. So when I'm doing this, I'm starting right now on the passenger back side of the car. So let me take you there. So we are located right now on the passenger back side, and this is pretty much where you are going to work. So the previous owner of this car painted the caliper red. That's why this area is red. So probably on your car, this is not going to be red. So you go ahead and open this little nipple thing, remove the sensor here. So you place your socket. Make sure I place that really quick and tight. There you go. Once it is in, you go ahead and insert this little thing in here. This is what is going to capture the fluid once it is out. Push it all the way in. Make sure it is in there very well. And then you open the valve. Open it and you can see the fluid is coming. So pretty much the idea is that you let it bleed until you see that the fluid changes color. When the color is nice, then that means it's time for you to close it. So I open it. I'm just gonna let it drip. It's also a good idea while it is draining for you to check on the front to make sure that the fluid is still in a good level, because if you run out of fluid, then you're going to introduce air in the system, and if you have air in the system, you pretty much have to do these steps all over again. So it's a good thing to go ahead and check after each side, make sure that there's enough fluid. If there's not enough, go ahead and add. It's actually better to have more fluid than having no fluid at all. When you are done, you remove the power bleeder. You need to ensure that your level is at the maximum. So right now, when I shake a little bit, my level is right there on the maximum after I was done. So I don't have to take some to put back in here. But I do have more fluid on the pressure bleeder, so I'm going to transfer that one here just in case if I need to top off this reservoir at a later time. So go ahead and put back that small cap that we removed earlier, and then cover this. There's one more step to do, which is to clear the code in the instrument cluster. Let's go ahead and do that right now. After completing the blade flush, you need to make sure that you clear the service line. To do that, you take your key, put in the ignition, and then press start stop one time. Once you see the service icon right here, you go ahead and press this button for 5 seconds. All right, so because I have to do my brake flush, that is the first signal that show up here. Now by pressing this icon right here, you can cycle through the different options that you have here. So this is the one for the brake flush, this is the one for the oil change, this is the one for the front brake pad, this is the one for anything that has to do with the emission, and this is the one for the rear brake. Now, since I want to reset the brake flush, I have to press one more time. And once I am on this option, I press here and hold it. So I'll go ahead and press and hold. And once I see the reset, I press and hold again the same button. And as you can see, There you go. The next time I have to do my brake flush, it's 11/2022. That's it. That's it. Now you can go ahead and press the brake and start the car. There you go. You are done. Once you're done clearing the service light, you need to make sure that you take your car and test it. If you feel something strange, like the brake is not responding properly, maybe you have air on the system, and then you have to start the process again. It's very, very important to make sure that you follow this tip. Test the car before you take it on the actual highway, on main road, because you don't want any accident. So if you have any issue with your brake line, once you brake, it's not going to work, and your car is going to continue to move forward or backward depending on what you were doing. So yeah, look at both of my babies. I have the Mini here and the M3 behind. If you like this video, you like what you learned today, make sure that you subscribe, give me a like or a thumbs up, whatever you want to call it, and make sure that you comment. Tell me about the type of DIY that you feel comfortable doing. This brake flush was pretty simple, and I'm going to put on the link all the tools that I used today, so that if you want to do something similar for your car, you can do it. This process that I used today is the same for any car. You just have to make sure that you find the right fluid for your car. That's it. On this note, see you on the next video, guys, and be safe.